everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today, I want to talk about shame. Specifically, why is it shameful to be chronically ill? Since I've started doing these videos, I feel like I've healed a lot of my so-called trauma from the heydays of my chronic migraine illness. I feel like speaking about it really openly has allowed me to process things in a way that writing about it or thinking about it does not. And as I move through each new chapter of my journey and phase, and each conversation that we have takes me a little bit closer to being completely healed of the horror that was my life for a long time. As many of you will know, the last 10 years or so were really quite different than the life I lead now. I've been blessed with the cure, I don't want to really use that word, but of Botox, and it is really giving me life back that I hadn't had for a really long time, and a way to manage my illness and keep fucking going, for lack of a better phrase. I don't like to use the word cure because I'm still chronically ill. I am still a person that gets migraines on a regular basis, whether they erupt to a scenario that requires really serious medical attention as they once did. No, I'm not that person, but I am a person that's managing a chronic illness. And more than that, it's not just one illness. And so I want to have a conversation today about, despite my progress in mental health, about dealing with the physical aspects of my health, why do I still feel so shameful to be sick? I feel a lot of shame, not so much as to things that transpired in the past or the reasons that my life is where it is today. I had a real hard time for a long time accepting that at 38 years old, about to be 39, I am not in a place where I would have ever dreamed that I would have been. I thought for sure I would have been further along in achieving my goals and dreams and things like that. It has taken a lot of work on my part to really acknowledge that where I am is where I'm supposed to be, and to really not just say it, but to actually believe it, because all of the things that have happened to me, good, bad, or otherwise, have led me to the place that I am now, and that will catapult me into a whole new phase of my life that will be better and bigger than I could have even ever dreamed or hoped for. And I really believe that now, and I really believe that my illness and surviving the hardest days of my illness is only going to allow me to move further in my career, and with the added bonus of hopefully helping people out there that really need to hear it. So with that being said, and I've healed all these things, and I've tried to really have grace for myself and patience when I'm not feeling well. Another thing I still sort of struggle with, but I'm getting much better. But the shame. I realized about a month ago, I woke up. And now, during these pandemic times, we have very few big things to look forward to. One of the things I really look forward to is cooking, and cooking for my family. I was having my aunt and uncle over for lunch on a Friday now. Normally I celebrate Pizza Friday, but this Friday I was cooking a early dinner sort of style lunch. I was roasting some chicken in my beautiful white wine sauce, roasting some vegetables, and I was super excited about doing it. I am always very excited to cook. I love the art of physically feeding people, sort of allows me to fill with joy and pride and feed their souls. And so while it wasn't a very fancy meal and there was only 2 people coming over, I was really excited about it. And I've been looking forward to it. When I woke up that morning, I woke up early. I had a few things to do for my business before I prepared lunch. And I just wasn't feeling well. And instantly, there's dread. Um, I knew that I would have to just push through and take breaks when I needed to. And ultimately, I ended up only being sick for a couple of hours, and everything went swimmingly, and lunch was prepared in time, and everyone loved it, and we had a great day. But no one else knew that I was sick because I didn't tell them. I also need to clarify what the definition is of sick. My body, when people hear that I'm not feeling well, because I've sort of trained them, I suppose, they automatically assume that what I'm talking about is my migraines, is my head. And while I appreciate that people are finally really hyper aware of my head and try to be sensitive to that, my chronic migraine brain isn't the only thing that I have to deal with. I've mentioned this many times over our discussions that I have a really sick stomach. It acts up when it feels like it, no matter how inconvenient that may be for me. And it's not the sort of thing that you can push through. You have to listen to your body and do whatever it takes. But as it was that day that I prepared the lunch, it was my stomach that was being erratic. And my instant thought is always, what did I do, right? Same sort of pattern of thinking when I used to get a really bad migraine. What did I do? Did I do something that antagonized my body and I'm unaware of it? Why I go through that process, I have no idea, because it has nothing to do with how I would treat either my head or my stomach going forward. It has nothing to do with either of those things. But it's some sort of like, I guess, guilt, or like, it's like a character assassination of yourself. And that's where the grace comes in. I have to try to be patient with myself when asking that kind of question to myself, and also with how I proceed and how inconvenient my illness is going to make the rest of my day. I do what needs to be done. I try to really listen to my body and decide for what, if anything, I can be done besides just waiting it out and resting and having patience, which is very hard to do. I'm a person that likes things that are planned. I love to plan, and when my plans go awry, I am incredibly frustrated. That's part of the source of my shame. It is like my body is letting me down. It's like when I have an attack of whatever kind, and I feel like I split into two, my mind and my body, and I feel like my body is betraying me, and my mind wants to know why. Why, and why now? And there's really no answer to that question, right? I am stuck in this body, for better or worse, and I need to make the most of it and treat it well, and even when it's not treating me well, figure out a path forward. Since that day, I was thinking about the topic of shame and sickness, and my age, I think, has a lot to do with it, actually. I was in my late 20s when I first started getting chronically ill with my migraines. And back then, my stomach was erratic as well, but I didn't realize that the two were linked. A lot of people with chronic migraine illnesses or other headache diseases have other serious illnesses as well. Nobody seems to really know why, but I believe that for me, I have a lot of inflammation in my body, and it attacks certain groups within my body, certain body parts, for lack of a better explanation. You know, there's a lot of nerves in your body, and I just feel like mine are inflamed, and no matter how many doctors I see, don't seem to understand why that is. But that just seems to be the case with me. I mean, even I've had some trouble with my ankle recently. Again, they think it's inflammation. They have no idea why. My eyes, I mean, the cataracts sort of, I believe, tie more into my migraines and the migraine-related preventative medications I took. But literally from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, something goes awry almost on a regular basis. And now, while most of these things aren't super serious or certainly not deadly, and I'm grateful for all of that, it's still a burden in a lot of ways. And so while I'm thinking about the topic of shame, and my opinions aside, there comes a point where after a certain amount of times being sick, you have to announce to the people that you're with that, hey, look, I'm not feeling well, something's not right, either because you need them to be aware of it, or because your plans are changing, or because you need to have a little more patience. So now, a real problem for me is having patience with myself. And even once I'm in that frame of mind, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to just take it easy today. It's not going to go the way that I want. I'm not going to get to accomplish the things that I want or enjoy the things that I wanted to do as much. And I accept it, and I'm on the same page. I have a problem telling it to the people that are around me. I found that very strange when I start to think about it, really think about it, because I don't surround myself with people I don't like. I hate most people. And I don't say that casually or because I have some kind of anger problem. I don't like a lot of people. So if you are part of my tribe, if you are part of my inner circle, if I spend a great deal of time with you, you are a family member that I adore, or you are a friend that has become like family to me. And I am an incredibly loyal and loving person, but I choose my people very carefully. And I don't spend time with people that don't bring me joy. It's as simple as that. But if I'm spending time with people that really love me and know me and understand me and we have this great time together, why do I feel shame to announce that I'm not feeling well? I was puzzled at that for a while. And then I realized that it's not necessarily that it's their fault, but within myself, I don't want to answer the questions, right? So if you tell someone that you're not feeling well, the first question is, why? How come? What is wrong? And in explaining the answer, I, all by myself, have created a internal feeling of shame by trying to answer their questions. Their questions as a person that loves and supports me, and while I know this as it's happening, seems to, inside of me, create shame. The shame is twofold. First, I don't exactly know what's wrong. I don't feel good. When I say I don't feel good, 90% of the time, it's the same feeling, and it's not actual pain. I just don't feel good. I don't feel like I can get up and be productive or enjoy myself. I feel like I'm not in my own body, and it's annoying. And I don't know what that feeling relates to. I'm not in pain. My head is behaving. My whatever is behaving. I've slept. I've taken my medication. I've done all of the things. And I don't know why. I don't feel right. And it's annoying. The other thing is that once I start to actually feel sick and something is going wrong, I don't want to appear to others that I don't take my health seriously, that I'm not vigilant about my health. I don't want to hear, you don't feel good because of X, Y, and Z. I don't want to be diagnosed by somebody else who's well-intentioned, but whose counter questions, especially when I'm feeling my most vulnerable and weak and sick, feels like an attack. That's where the shame comes in. And while it happens very, very rarely, I don't want to hear, well, you have problems with your stomach because you're heavy, you're overweight. Because that's not the reason. And I don't want to hear, oh, you're sick again? Oh God, what else can go wrong with you? I don't want to hear that. They're both very hurtful. I am hyper-vigilant about my health. And we will talk about that in more detail next time. But no one is more in tune with their body and what is going on with it and managing it and my maintenance as a chronically ill person than I am. It's just facts. And yeah, I'm a little proud of that. If you watched my License to Kill video a couple of weeks ago, You know that no one researches their doctors more than me, goes to more than one when I'm not finding the help that I need than me. It's just a fact. So when I'm telling you I don't feel good and you're going, oh God, you feel that again? Maybe you should see a new doctor. Maybe you should back off. Because being chronically ill, at least for me, doesn't mean that I'm managing one illness. I am managing my whole entire life based around the things that happen to me and the inconvenient illnesses I face. No matter how big or small, it's still an illness. It's still something that has to be dealt with. It's still something that puts a crank in my plans. And it makes me feel shameful sometimes. I also really, when I've finally gone out, especially during a pandemic, and planned something, even small, I really want people to enjoy it. And I hate being the reason that I think that someone else, whether it was 10 minutes or 3 hours, has to put up with me, sort of a deal. And it brings me shame. It bothers me that I am doing this to myself in some ways, because if it was the other way around, certainly I have patience with the person and the scenario, and I know that there's nothing that they can do about it. A lot of that compassion has probably come because of my illnesses, but also because it's inherently who I am. I don't want to be the person that has more than one thing wrong with them, even if it's casual things, and even if it's, not life-threatening things or super serious things. They're all things that are valid and serious enough to me. They're enough. It's enough. And what I want also people to understand is that more than one thing can happen to you in a day. My foot can be killing me and my stomach can be acting up, at the same time. And sometimes I don't even know which to treat first or what to do with myself. But I don't want to hear, what's going on with you again. Why is there something else happening to you? It's shame. And perhaps I need a better way of dealing with it. I don't want to come off like there's something so serious. I don't want to worry people that are with me or around me. But something in announcing that I am sick always, this has been going on with me since the beginning days of my migraines, is that I don't want people to look at me differently. I don't want them to worry. But something about announcing that I'm not feeling well also takes pressure off of me. It releases me. Trying to hide it is always my instinct. And something about, look, I give up. I don't have the strength for that. I am trying to feel better. And so I just don't feel good. And everybody needs to know. And maybe that's just me saying, look, I need 5 minutes. Please don't speak to me. Maybe it's 5 minutes because I have to figure out what to do. Maybe I need 5 minutes to speak to my doctor. Or maybe I need you to do something for me. Of all the questions I get asked about my migraine illness and what people can do to support those around them, whatever they're going through, I always feel like the best questions are, what's going on? Do you feel like you need emergency help? Or is there just anything I can do for you? I'm sorry that you're not feeling well. What can I do to make it better? It's such a small thing that ends up becoming such a big thing. It's really the best answer. And now, like I said, I am in a different stage in my illness, for lack of a better phrase. And so people have seen the progress that I've made. And so to hear that maybe I still have a lot of bad days, more than people would expect, is something that I have to be better about explaining. A lot of what I have is invisible. I have this thing with invisible illnesses that necessarily looking at me, you wouldn't know what I am internally, physically dealing with. And I need to be more vocal and more clear about what I'm feeling, that what I'm feeling I have no control over, that I have no idea why it's happening necessarily, and that maybe there's nothing but time that I can do to fix it, and that I need compassion back. I need to feel it, maybe. And that I need to work on shaming myself for all of the things that I would hope that somebody wouldn't shame me for, if that makes sense. I need to redefine the definition of what chronically ill to me looks like and feels like and is. And while I'm trying to have grace and patience for people, I really need them to have it back and pay it forward. And so I am really trying to not feel shameful when I feel sick. I am trying to be proud that I have gotten this far and that I will continue to go far, no matter what my health will look like, and that I can handle it and that it will be okay, and that I'm not ashamed to be sick anymore.